Whoever dwells in the shelter of the Most High will rest in the shadow of the Almighty. Psalm 91, one night falls quietly. Sometimes when the world outside grows loud and restless, there is a deep longing for shelter. Not brick and stone, but something softer, profoundly invisible. This verse speaks of a shelter deep enough for grief, heartbreak, even for lingering doubts. To dwell in the shelter of the Most High is to make a quiet choice, over and over, stepping back from noise and letting worry slip into the shadows. The shadow of the Almighty. That phrase lingers. Shadows can hold what sunlight exposes. They become a gentle cover, a sense of peace over fear. Rest in this place isn't about sleep. It's about relief. For those nights lying awake, mind unsettled by anxious replay, the words carve out an invitation. Come inside. Let yourself rest here. The Lord will keep you from all harm. He will watch over your life. Psalm 121:7 roads wind upward and downward, often steep and hidden by curves. In ancient times, Psalm 121 was a traveler's song. Pilgrims chanted it as they crossed dangerous ground. Rocks, thieves, exhaustion, they worried about the next step. Today the dangers look different. A sudden phone call, news that unsettles, fears about people we love. Harm isn't always physical. It can be what happens to our sense of belonging or our hope or our security. With these words, protection feels like eyes that never leave us. Watch over your life. Not just your moments of triumph, even the rough mornings and lonely afternoons, even the seasons where hope runs thin and strength drains away. It is as though someone stands watch through every hour, silent but never absent. The promise is not a guarantee against pain, but a reassurance that you are never out of sight. But the Lord is faithful, and He will strengthen you and protect you from the evil one. 2 Thessalonians 3:3. There are days when the world's edges feel sharp. Opposition comes not just from outside, but from spirals within. Doubts, regrets, memories that accuse. The writer here looks outward and inward, naming a force that presses in, whispering that we don't have what it takes. The evil one. Sometimes that influence is subtle, a narrative urging us toward bitterness or fear, eroding confidence quietly. But the Lord is faithful. This faithfulness is stubborn. It holds on even when we let go. Strength, protection. Not a shield against every sorrow, but a deepening of courage, a grounding on days when your grip slips. Imagine protection, not as walls, but as presence. Protection through fatigue, through your darkest temptations. The hands that hold you do not let go. God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble. Psalm 46:1 storms begin suddenly, rumbling across an afternoon, rattling windows, turning familiar streets strange. Trouble can arrive just as quickly, an ordinary day bending beneath pressure. But refuge here is not just escape. It's a place both inside and out, threaded through memory, somewhere in childhood, when a parent's arms were enough, or as an adult. The desk lamps glow late at night, work still undone, but a quiet certainty that help could reach you even here. Ever present. That word means there is never a moment alone, never a sorrow too bizarre or a thought too fractured to be met with companionship. Help does not always erase trouble, but it brings a solidity, a quiet insistence. You are not abandoned. Strength sometimes means endurance, not escape. Sometimes it's just getting through the next hour. The name of the Lord is a fortified tower. The righteous run to it and are safe. Proverbs 18:10 ancient city walls once stood thick against invaders, a safehold shaped from stone. In this proverb, the image shifts to a tower, high, solid, visible from every field. The idea is less about location, more about trust. Names still matter. The act of calling someone, speaking their name aloud, creates connection. In moments of crisis, people still search for something or someone strong enough to shelter them. Run somewhere when everything is overwhelming. To run to the name is to lean on a reputation, a history of reliability that stretches back before memory. In the swirl of accusations, confusion, or overwhelming tasks, the invitation is to step aside, if only for a breath. And remember, safety doesn't have to mean isolation. Today it might look like a whispered prayer in a noisy office, or the simple act of asking for help. The tower stands, a symbol not only of escape, but also of belonging. No weapon forged against you will prevail, and you will refute every tongue that accuses you. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and this is their vindication from me, declares the Lord. Isaiah 54:17. The ancient world knew the clang of metal, the shaping of swords, and the echo of accusation. Here the promise is shaped not against the ordinary sting of words, but against crafted intent, schemes, hostility, judgment. It's a phrase that stands in defiance of seeming defeat. Weapons will be formed, words will be spoken, but none will have the last word. Life today knows these weapons intimately. Sometimes they're external, unfair criticism, betrayal, being misunderstood in the place that matters most. Sometimes they're internal, self-condemnation, the fear that our story will end in failure. To be vindicated is not loud. It's not about proving someone wrong so much as it's about standing finally, without shame. This verse lands with quiet strength, a slow confidence for those whose reputation, safety, or self-worth is under siege. There's a history here. Protection is not just about survival. It's about dignity, about identity restored. Protection, in these ancient songs and declarations, rarely promises an untouched life. Instead, the language circles around presence. It is the kind of guarding that comes from intimacy, watchfulness that continues, even when evidence grows thin. For the tired parent watching a child sleep, wishing they could guarantee every happiness, every outcome, these words offer company. The shelter is not about closing down all uncertainty. It's about knowing you are not left alone in the questions. For the worker, overlooked again, who wonders if effort matters when so little is recognized, God's watchfulness sits quietly beside disappointment, keeping you step by step when future outcomes are not yet clear. For anyone feeling exposed by illness, by fear of loss, or by the thinness of support, each verse makes one thing sure: you are not unseen. Every story of protection brings tension. We hope for shortcuts out of night seasons, instant relief from crisis or sorrow. But the Psalms, the Proverbs, even the letters of Paul point to a more complicated refuge, a place where pain and presence coexist. Think of the shadow of the Almighty. Shadows do not remove the heat of the day, but they let breath return, just enough for courage to grow again. The refuge is not always an exit. Sometimes it's a slowing heartbeat in the midst of chaos, a moment of clarity to keep going when tomorrow is not promised. That tower fixed on the horizon can become a memory you return to on difficult days. A phrase, a prayer, or a story that keeps you anchored. In cities washed with neon and in quiet rural lanes, people still whisper prayers of protection. Some name their worry, some avoid it. Yet the longing is the same, a hope that harm will be kept at bay, that burdens can be carried a little longer. Whether you pray aloud or only in desperate thought, the Scriptures keep open a doorway. Come inside. Be sheltered. If you have ever wondered if help would come, if presence, and not just solution, could meet you in your weariness, these verses are for you. For those in the shadows, in the frayed remainder of hope, the words settle like rain. Rest here. Not every weapon is a sword. Not every trouble has a sound. Harms are felt in what is lost as much as what is threatened. Yet each promise echoes. Strength will greet you, even if only softly at first. Watchfulness does not leave, even when fear grows bold. Your dignity will stand, even after accusations storm. The verses do not erase uncertainty. They do not wrap life in bubble wrap or guarantee a perfect end. But they offer a kind of safety no lock or alarm can match, belonging through every season, a presence that does not leave. So when the day is long and vulnerability presses close, remember the shadow, the refuge, the tower, the shelter. Remember that being watched over can be unseen and still unbreakable. You are held, whatever comes next. There is protection here, deep and enduring, for this day and the next. Amen.